All right. So, just a recap of what happened last time. You guys were separated from each other within the planetome. Part of the group, let's call them the Strong Boys, determined that they were in some sort of a demiplane. Now, in fairness, they didn't determine that. The member of the planetome who they found within this demiplane pointed out that things were a little bit weird. Team Beefcake. Sorry, I apologize for the misnomer. Um, so, with the help of Faradina Canestep, you guys did determine that there's something going on here. You guys are trapped within some sort of demiplane. Only place that she knew of that could do that within the planetome was this crystal ball that the Archmage of Conjuration held in his chambers. You guys figured out how to escape that, reconvening with Max and Lanray, who I believe we're calling the Skinny Boys. Maybe that's where I got it wrong.
That sounds right.
Yep. Who were similarly meandering through somewhat of a trap, finding themselves within a altered state of the greenhouse within the planetome. They made it through an arcane lock, fighting off a few skeletons. You guys eventually convened within the library in order to go to the chambers of various mages, archmages of the planetome, but encountered sort of a group of necromantic wizards that Max is familiar with. Not the friendliest group, a group that seemed to have changed since the last time Max had encountered them to some extent. You all did fight to the death with them, except for one who you held captive to interrogate. Completing that, you were able to send out messages to the group of archmages trying to keep control of the planetome from the exterior of the building, who entered. Everyone kind of reconvened, came to the same conclusions of what's going on, which led to a single culprit, the Archmage of Necromancy, a person by the name of Darback Rivenleia.
Oh.
I will copy in here just for reference. With that information, the remaining archmages, minus the Archmage of Conjuration, who's away on some sort of business, decided they would lock down the interior of the planetome with the assistance of the Acer Magica. This would include Archmage Hollymore, Cordelius Sylvidus, and Tyron Paul. Faradina Canestep also stayed with them to assist with that. The group, having decided that the planetome at least is locked down, protected for the moment, and maybe a distraction, decided to return to the core focus, which was the protection of the Emperor. Returning to the ominous wedding invitation that Lady Belladrake sent out, stating that she was planning to get married in the throne room of the palace. With that, you guys returned. You found Master Cleric Nantes. You found that he is busily trying to create potions. He is grossly understaffed. For whatever reason, the storage of potions and other materials for the city have been reduced significantly. You find Corstane and Render Klein, who are talking together almost like old friends. Both of them served in a military facet. You know that. Render Klein's kind of was the head of the port. Chorus was the head of the city guard. They've taken to sort of convening together, keeping their own kind of guards, watching after the palace. And the Emperor, who has now confined himself to the inner keep, along with his family, and a set of his most loyal Imperial guards. You have been given free reign over the palace grounds. And that's where we kind of left off. You guys are in the palace currently. You've been shown to your chambers. You notice there are strange things in this palace, it seems empty, but you do find some of the court hanging around. You've seen glances of Simon Willett, the courtier of trade. What do you guys want to do? It's kind of afternoon, evening at this point in the palace.
This is the next day after we've all had our rests.
I believe you guys did press the rest buttons last time.
Yeah, I think we did.
Yeah. So you guys are pretty well, healed up any of your wounds with whatever remaining potions and rest that you guys took. So this is a whole day after the battle at the Platinum.
I mean, as far as we know, right, from everything we've been able to determine, like the courtyard or the is it courtyard or the main audience area is where Veladrake's message says, the invitation just names a place, right?
It explicitly says in the throne room of the palace.
The throne room, yeah.
Yeah.
So, kind of logic dictates, right? We should maybe go investigate the throne room, right, and what's around it.
Okay.
Also, Simon Willett. I'm pretty sure the dude was had some ulterior motives that we were kind of questioning. I'm just going to put that bug in everybody's ear if they remember anything about that guy. He seems he was doing a little bit of underhanded dealings, but I could be wrong with that, misremembering.
Yeah, the sort of run-ins that you ran in with Simon was, he was the one that sent you guys to Gregan's to investigate some stopped cargo, some reports of thieving. The first time you ever saw him, he was actually with Lady Belladrake at the casino, Olafir's Tavern. He's kind of always come off as not against you all, but certainly, not showing all his cards at all times.
I will make it verbally known to the rest of the crew that I would always keep an eye on him to make sure he's not at the back.
Okay. What says the rest of the group?
Wasn't Simon Willett somehow involved with Belladrake? I forget it.
There were rumors. So, Max, you were more familiar with some of those rumors than some of the rest of the party who are outsiders to the city. Especially, obviously, me, man. Always circling rumors that Simon Willett was betrothed to Lady Belladrake, that her aunt was looking to create that marriage in order to sort of assure Daria a place in nobility. As you know, the Belladrake house has fallen off significantly, both financially and just in standing. So, yeah, there were always kind of those rumors circling. Ooh, I have some art to show too. Hold on. You can see what Simon Willett looks like.
Oh boy. He's Matt Berry?
Yes, he is Matt Berry. He even talks like him. Sorry, I have to take it aside. Has anybody seen Fallout yet?
Yes. Oh my God!
I freaking love his character in Fallout.
Yes.
It's amazing.
All right, now I gotta watch it. I didn't even know he was in it.
It's an Easter egg. It's amazing.
All right, I'm gonna have to watch it now.
Anyways, yes, he is basically Garth Marenghi.
All the more reason to not trust this guy, guys.
So you do see him sort of on the castle grounds. I mean, the castle grounds are bigger than the castle, right? You guys have windows that look out from your chambers. You have seen him about in the Citadel, which is normal. His office is within the Citadel. And you've seen other courtiers too. I'll sort of give some names that Max you would recognize. You've seen Lord Ainder Carolidia, who's the courtier of Banks.
That old so-and-so.
You know. You've also seen some of the minor court. You've seen Lady Delia Vender, who's the daughter of the courtier of arms, Gregalt Vender. She's generally been within the castle confines themselves, kind of in the main hall. A lot of these kind of courtier positions and ladies of the court encircle the palace at all times. You've seen the crown prince also, even though the emperor and his wife and some of the younger children have taken up sort of a protected position within the inner keep. You have seen the crown prince, let me type out his name, Raylan Arkees IV. He's kind of taken the role of being the eyes and ears of the palace outside of yes, exactly. You have to know the full nobility chain to understand this particular session. So the Crown Prince has kind of been the person who's been the eyes and ears. He's been giving the orders to whatever palace guards aren't part of the main imperial sort of protection for the emperor. So he's generally been in and out of the war room, the throne room, places like that. What would you like to do? Who would you like to tail, evidently? Sounds like Medolfir's a little bit suspicious.
I mean, I'm not good at like tailing people. I mean, I can track them, but like tailing is like more subterfuge and stealth. That's not my cup of tea.
Valid.
I'm like Medolfir's like really interested in the throne aspect of this, like. So if she wants to do what she says she's going to do, there's going to be an attempt to get, the guy out of his danger room and brought here, right? So.
Yeah. She's usually done what she said she's gonna do in general. I mean, if you believe the things that have occurred thus far in the city have been caused by her. Yeah. So
like, I don't know, maybe like kind of trace the steps from the throne room to like to where the emperor is, right?
Okay.
Like,
mm-hmm.
the whole footpath from point A to point B, and just kind of see if there's anything I can notice or any of us can notice that may be a little off.
Give me a survival check specifically for you. Now, are you guys doing this together? I mean, you're in a pretty safe place in the Citadel, obviously. Are you guys spreading out to sort of look through things individually, or always staying together? Scooby-Doo gang.
I'm keeping Team Beefcake whole, so I'm just gonna sense motive and like look around to see if I notice anything off. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, give me a sense motive. That's a good idea. So, Medolfir, you're kind of quietly moving through the hallways between the throne room, and behind you, Mayman's kind of like clank, 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 clank. It is. Are you in full plate armor, Mayman?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, then I would say that you don't necessarily have metal boots then, if you only have a half plate. Not so much clanking, but, he's a very large person. Everywhere he goes, the city guards kind of take notice of this breastplate, thank you, of this rather large person always wearing a helmet. At times, the guards kind of look like they're almost getting at ready. Me Man, when you come by, you get the sense that, you're a large person walking through a palace with people who aren't familiar with you. So maybe that's where the tension arises as you pass them. Medolfir, scanning sort of the zone between throne room and the inner keep. There's only a certain point you can get to, obviously, with the inner keep. They have the main iron doors completely sealed off. They appear to be lead doors, from what you can tell. There's not a lot of traffic back and forth. They've been purposely keeping sort of this pathway clear to see if any intruders are trying to approach. As you approach, there are obviously guards specifically at the inner keep doors. There are 4 guards total. They look different than city guards. Some of them have very limited armor on, but have martial weapons. What it reminds you of is the gear that you saw in Shatterwake from the sort of battle mages that you fought, They look capable of defending themselves, but they're not wearing heavy armor. Others are wearing the full plate armor that you see around the palace.
So, we've kind of had guards around us. I know the city guard is different than the Imperial Guard. Are like the markings on the armor, I would imagine, are going to be at least similar, right? They're going to be Terthian colors, Terthian symbology, stuff like that, right?
Specific to the Imperial Guard, they have the symbol of the Emperor, which is basically a lily, sort of a in bloom lily, on the shields, the tower shields that they're carrying. Those who are carrying tower shields, and on the pauldrons, there's that symbol. That's different than the city guard.
Are their necks exposed?
Are their necks exposed? The ones wearing full plate armor do not have their necks exposed. Those who look kind of more light and agile, they're not wearing any real armor above the waist, outside of maybe a very light leather padded armor.
So Medolfir is going to also be paying attention to the neckline of people that he's coming across. Just casual glancing, not like, excuse me, sir, let me lift your chin and look, but for fresh scarring, right? Or something that would match the wound on the what we assume is a doppelganger bag.
Okay. As you do so, you start investigating a particular guard. You get real close, and the guards, how like the British guards are not supposed to move. He's kind of staying stoic and stand still in front of the door as you start observing closer and ever closer, approaching him, looking around, trying to get underneath his helmet a little bit just to get a peek. And then he just kind of looks at you and goes, can I help you?
Just looking.
Well, I know that you are here on Imperial orders, but doesn't mean that we want this close of quarters. If you don't mind, please keep the pathway clear from the inner keep hallways. Me-Man, in the background, in fact, you watch Medolfir awkwardly interrogating kind of the neckline of this guard. Master Nantes kind of goes and taps on the metal of your back plate of that breastplate, just kind of tapping on the.
We told him about the doppelganger, right?
You did tell Master Nantes about that, yeah.
I look at Master Nantes and I'm like, Do you require a hug?
Oh, well, I think if you were to give me a hug, you may perhaps crush all of my ribs. So maybe a rain check on that one. I was just coming to tell you I've completed a couple of more potions that I've left in the stockroom. If your party is of any need of it, you can find them there. Sadly, I'm only but one man, so trying to create them as quickly as possible. There's the old Master Cleric Nantes. Is your friend Modolfier okay?
He does not require a hug.
I don't think I could approach him anyways. He's got so many weapons, I might cut myself if I did. Well, I'll be in my chapel in case you need anything. Okay. Saunters off. While this is happening, what are the skinny boys doing? Max, I'd say you guys would have been probably up in the chambers during all this. It's mid-afternoon. What are you guys doing?
I think Max is trying to get, information.
Okay.
Trying to talk with people around and sort of generally figure out what the threat vectors are and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I would probably be joining Max on that.
Okay.
If it made sense.
All right. You end up leaving your chambers, still some sunlight coming through the glass and meandering around sort of the more populated portions that the court hall itself. Give me gather information. And what kind of information specifically? Just kind of like oddities around the palace, or? Max?
Well, I'm not going to be gathering that much, that's for sure.
I'm trying to... So... Yeah. Basically trying to get, information about... trying to figure out, where we would be most useful, you know? What should we be tactically doing?
Okay. As you move around, you find a lot of the people that you're finding outside of the guards, who are very stoic, are the persons of the court. And they're stuck in their sort of frivolity. Despite the sort of dangers that are existing, they've always lived a very comfortable life within the walls of the Citadel. You do kind of run across the Crown Prince at times, who keeps messages generally short with you. He tells you all to, stay close. I know that my father has told you, has great confidence in your group and what you've done for the city. We certainly need as many capable persons as possible, but at this time, just keep an eye out on any dangers. Perhaps check in with those who are our allies to see if there are any strange occurrences. And he kind of walks off in a hurry to the war room. You notice also with these checks that Chorus and Render are generally in concert, in discussion with the Crown Prince. They discuss together all the time in the war room. You've noticed that a couple times throughout the afternoon. The only people willing to really talk a lot with you, who don't seem like they're in a hurry or otherwise standing guard, are the kind of frivolity court hanger-ons of the palace.
Entourage.
Entourage, indeed. Turtle is ready to talk anytime you want to talk.
I'm assuming that's somebody from the TV show Entourage.
No, it's an actual full-grown turtle who will talk to you if you wish.
All right. Well, Max is very much into new races, so yeah. Yes, he's going to spend 5 hours talking with Turtle.
All right. Landry, I messaged in the chat that if you want to, instead of kind of directly diplomatically talking with people, sort of use your eyes and ears, as a ranger, you can kind of do more observation in that way. Max, you can attempt to also, but I don't think you're going to get much better than your gather information.
What am I doing?
Spots and listens. If instead of like direct conversation, if you're trying to. Okay. Man.
All the rolls are, folks. All the rolls.
Lenray and Max, almost feeling blindly wandering, kind of without purpose around the palace, uncomfortable at times with the kind of level of opulence that surrounds you. Max, to some extent, you kind of left this lifestyle, right? I mean, your parents are of wealthy background, not crazy wealthy, but they're one of the well-known noble families of the city. Lanray, for you, this whole palace is just covered in luxury and waste. It feels aimless at times for you guys. You feel out of place touching the curtains and looking at the various portraits of past emperors and kings and nobility. You find yourself eventually wandering past a space of the palace where you see a fountain. You don't see anybody here, but Max, with your listen check, you hear a talking voice.
Do I spot anybody?
You don't spot anybody. I mean, there's a lot of crevices and openings and doorways to the exterior gardens that would hide a person, but you hear in the echoey chamber of this sort of space a voice talking hushed. Very hushed. Do you wish to try to approach that voice? You don't hear particular words at this point. You just know that someone is speaking quietly.
So here's an idea, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Spaces like this kind of have auditory focal points.
Sure.
Can I use my knowledge of kind of how sound works in order to find the spot where I would be able to hear the most amplified version of this?
Give me a knowledge engineering. Landray, you're sort of unsure why Max is stopped in the hallway at this point. You didn't hear anything in particular that stopped you. Max, with that knowledge engineering, I will say it will be easier for you to approach and listen than otherwise necessary. What you've essentially done, if you wish, is found a spot that is closer, and therefore, if you're trying to mask that you're here or hide your presence, it's a lesser DC than it would have otherwise been. Because you're just having to travel a lot less than going specifically to the source. So, you can just openly walk towards the source of the sound, or you can attempt to sneak over to this kind of focal point you believe will be echoing it.
Well, knowing my strengths and weaknesses, I don't necessarily think sneaking is going to be great.
Lanray's with you also, I will say.
Is he good at sneaking?
Not too bad.
Alright, we can try it.
Are you pointing to the spot that he should try to sneak to?
Yeah. I'm kind of giving the Team SEAL Team 6 or whatever it's called. Kind of hand gestures.
So Lanray, 2 options to getting there. It's somewhat in the middle of the room, but it is behind the fountain where he's pointing to. All the sound will echo towards sort of this central point. You don't think there are eyes on you right now, so you could attempt to kind of go there and hide and listen, or you could just try to move silently towards it. I'll give you your option: hide or move silent.
Well, they are the exact same for me, so
Yeah.
We'll move silently.
Okay. So across this kind of stone tile floor.
Holy moly.
Man, Lanray, you are rolling terribly tonight.
And that is
today, this morning.
Plus 10.
Yeah, wow. Lanray, you start moving towards the fountain. There's kind of a click that occurs with your heel as you take the first step, a loose stone in the tile. Max, you kind of quickly assist by calming the stone. You notice that the tile is moving just as he steps on it, and before it really makes a louder echo noise, you put your hand on it. You guys do make your way together towards the fountain. Now I need another listen check from this vantage point. It'll be a far less DC. 10 was the DC. That definitely hears it. You hear the familiar voice of Simon Willett. I am not going to try to do the accent. Matt Berry. He's talking with someone, maybe through a window, an open window. In a hushed tone, you hear the 2 voices. One not responding as much, but Simon clearly going, I'm going to need a lot more than this for my own confidence. So whatever you need to do, go to the Grim, empty out whatever you can. Money is not an issue, so I just need it to be done by tonight. And at this point, you get the general sense that he's kind of back in this corner out of sight, behind one of the columns. That's the direction of the sound. And the other person kind of goes, okay, but the guards keep checking me at the gate, and you know how things are right now. It's going to cost you double to get that much in. And he goes, that's fine. And he tosses him a coin purse, and that sound of the coin purse is what echoes across this room, kind of starkly. What are you guys doing?
Do I know what the Grim is?
The Grim. You could be referring to the part of the city, which is the Warder's Grim, unless it means something else. Maybe it's a person also, but out of context, being a magical person, you'd think it would be probably the ward.
So you just said go to the Grim, right?
Yep. All right, is there anything you guys wish to do at this moment, or are you kind of sense that their conversation's ending after the coin was tossed?
I kind of start at a whisper, but then bring my voice up as I kind of step louder and louder, as if we're trying to get closer.
Okay.
But I'm having just sort of a conversation, and I'm saying, yeah, that turtle man was telling me how he loves a turkey stuffed with crickets, and now I can't even stop thinking about it.
Literally, as he's picking up this odd, out of context conversation, what are you doing?
I'm just watching Max to figure out his next steps. I'm trying to stay out of the way and just make sure they don't see me, and also hold back the laughter.
Yep. You hear the sounds of a foot taking sort of a step and a window being closed. and a latch kind of being placed with your listen check at 21. And now for the first time, sort of as are you guys still hiding behind the fountain, or are you just out in the open kind of walking in this space now?
Yeah, the general idea of what Max is trying to do is trying to make it like, oh, we're just walking and talking here, like not completely oblivious of what's around us. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Got it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And for the first time, you see Simon Willett's eyes now upon you as he kind of comes around this corner, and he goes, "Oh, Max and Lanray, it has been so long since I've seen you. Let me come take a look." And he kind of walks towards you all, kind of looking around the space, seeing if there were other people in this space. Max, obviously he's hiding something. You don't get any sense that he's got a suspicion about you guys being in this space. It feels like he's kind of talking to you in a nervous tone. I've heard that you all have been great service to the Emperor and are here to assist with these dark matters that have been surrounding us. No need to summarize, of course. Shall we walk? Perhaps there are many things we need to catch up on. And these days are long and not much to do while we await this ominous axe above us. Do you take him up on his offer to sort of walk the grounds?
Yeah. I think I do, yeah.
Okay. We'll hold there. Back to the beefcakes. Medolfir and Mimin, you've had some time to kind of think over the keep. Kind of a dead end. You don't know where Max and Lanray are at this time. You have gone deep into the castle. Obviously, the inner keep, you have to kind of go downstairs to get there. What are you guys going to next? Unless you want to stay at the keep.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have like anywhere other than like the throne room and the path from the keep to the throne room that is striking a chord with me. So I don't know if anyone has any other suggestions of places he would like to go check out or investigate. So if not, then just kind of walking back and forth the length of the path between the two areas that we have unfettered access to, and just kind of be watching the comings and goings of people and looking for anything that just strikes out of the ordinary.
Okay. Let me move Master Nantes out of here. I would say going back and forth between those two spaces, you do eventually kind of come across Renderklein in the throne room at times, along with Chorus Thane. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Chorus. Let me see.
Oh, that's Tywin Lannister. And that's Bruce Willis.
Yeah. Bruce Willis is Chorus Thane, and yes, Tywin Lannister is Renderklein, essentially.
And the Graylin Arquess is Pierce Brosnan.
He is not in this room. Yes. So it's mostly you see sort of Chorus and Render in this room at times, talking in a corner across a table. There's a table over here, similar to what you've seen passing by the war room when the door's been ajar in the war room. The war room is kind of between the inner keep and the throne room. Small table, little figures on the table, and they're kind of chatting over it. Mayman. Well, let me ask Mayman, since Medolfir asked, is there anything that you were specifically trying to do?
Not really. I am totally out of place, so I would just back Medolfir up and ask awkward questions to distract people.
Yeah, I don't think you've ever been in a city like this, have you? You wouldn't have encountered anything like that in your...
Oh no, I am totally out of place.
Yeah. This world continues to get stranger and stranger for you. This plane of existence that you are now found yourself on.
Yeah, it's not normal like the Outlands. This is unusual.
This is very unusual. Stones that are made formally to look symmetrical. Very strange. So, Nolfir, you notice Mayman, a man of few words, just sort of your shadow as you move about the castle. So what are you doing, Nolfir?
I mean, of course, I'm gonna go up and ask Chorus, Chorus thing, River Klein if they noticed anything out of sorts. And
Okay.
Noted about that.
Yeah, Varg always behind you, along with Mayman. No change in his attitude. As you approach Chorus and Render, you do see better now. A similar board to what you recall seeing a long time ago. Well, not a long time ago, but a week past when you came into the palace originally to tell the Emperor of the threat. It's a regional map. It shows southern Adbara, the sort of subcontinent island north of the island of Terthus, where you believe that there are plans for military conquest from the Empire in order to address some of the food shortages that have been in the city from the shipping being reduced. They're talking over some pieces. Are you explicitly trying to look at that?
Who is they? Render or Chorus?
Render, Chorus, and a couple of kind of lower officers of the guard that are standing about. They don't seem to have noticed you. They're busy in conversation.
So, yes, I want to see if I can hear anything in particular, but also just like some shower thoughts. Chorus doesn't strike me as the kind of person that is okay with that act of aggression, right? Like, he looks like he would try to fix problems internally rather than just go conquest another area for simple gains. Mm-hmm. So, Medolfer's thought is like, who's driving this? Who's really driving this? What's the word I'm looking for? This act of aggression against another area for their resources, because it kind of sounds like maybe it's being planned and spoken about as one thing when it's actually the ulterior motive of something.
Okay. Yeah, they're not trying to keep hushed voices or anything, right? They're clearly in the throne room. There's an echo here. There's not even really a listen check that's needed, but you do hear another voice speaking. You particularly recognize this now in this short time that you've been here as the Crown Prince also talking. Give me a sense motive. In general, both of you can kind of do a sense motive of the conversation as a whole and how people are standing in this. Okay. So, kind of standing from where you are, you overhear what they're talking about. It is a tactical discussion regarding the positioning and current presence of naval forces south of Salphus Gra that have evidently already taken position off the coast of Adbara. That is... I'll take you to the world map real quick. Let's see. Actually, I want to go to this map. So, Salphus Gra, kind of here, the closest port town to Terthus within Adbara. They're talking over how many people are needed, whether they have the right numbers. You hear talk of 12 warships already being in position, with another 12 on the way. And you overhear, well, do they have enough supplies? And you hear Render's voice stating, yes, we've made sure that they have significant supplies in case of any problems with them. And then you hear Chorus with those sense motive checks. Yeah. Chorus in a tone that's clearly trying to punch holes in the strategy, maybe in kind of playing devil's advocate to some extent. You get the intent of. And he's kind of like, well, what if there's issues and they become entrenched there for longer than we expect? With everything that's happening in the city, can we really be without our own defenses here? And it's at this time that they kind of generally see you, Midolfir, and Mayman and Varg approaching within the throne room. They don't necessarily stop their conversation. They just kind of take note of you, and with Mayman, with your sense motive check, you get the sense that Render kind of gives Chorus a look, and then they both kind of look to the Crown Prince as to what he's going to say. The Crown Prince just kind of goes, well, this is of the most importance to my father. It is critical that we resolve what's been happening beyond the dangers to our family, for the city as a whole. We don't know how long these conditions for shipments will last, and we cannot continue to rely on our relationship with our friends to help us sustain. So I understand what you're saying, Chorus, but it needs to happen. And that is the Emperor's thoughts on this. And with that, they kind of roll up the map a little bit and fully kind of take note of you, Midolfir and Mayman. Gentlemen, any oddities around the palace that you've found?
No. Nothing out of sorts.
I hope that everything is generally pleasant. This is the Crown Prince speaking to you. My father wanted to make sure that you all were treated with comfort for what you've done. Of course, your utility is well known as well, so whatever we can do to assist.
The Crown's hospitality has been more than accommodated.
Glad to hear it. Your silent friend there, Mayman, if I understand, does he always keep his helmet on?
Yes.
Go ahead.
The Crown Prince kind of approaches Mayman, and as he gets closer and closer, that kind of perspective of size changes, and he realizes Midolfir, you're actually taller than the Crown Prince. He didn't kind of realize it from far away, and then as he approaches, he's like, oh, and he's looking kind of crane-necked up at you, Mayman.
I say, would you like a hug?
He kind of looks at your breastplate and goes, not much for hugs, and then he kind of like reaches around and pats you on the back. Good man. Strong.
Hold on.
What are we holding on for? Spot, okay. What are you looking for?
Skip scars.
You look at the Crown Prince closely at this point, and he's not observing you, he's observing Mayman, obviously. So he's, craning his neck. There are no scars on his neck. You kind of see his guards staying close by. Now that you see, they're not officers with Chorus and Render, they're more Imperial guards with the emblem, making sure that the Crown Prince is also protected. But no, you don't see anything other than the royal crest on the kind of clutch that holds the cloak of the Crown Prince.
Any other adornments that kind of stick out as odd for what he should be wearing? That I would know of course.
Opulent, obviously. Silk materials of which that you've never seen really before. Gilded completely. His sword is immaculate. I mean, he has a saber that is just like it was created by the best master craftsman. Yes, it is all just top-notch Louis Vuitton. These are not knockoffs. Very kind of Baroque style, but unusual? No. I mean, unusual that you wouldn't wear anything like this, either of you. But not unusual to see a crown prince wearing it.
Very, very nice blade.
Yes, this was created by the Imperial Armorer himself upon my 13th birthday, actually. A common occurrence of the Imperial line. There is no other sword like this sword. And you see it is made out of the finest adamantium. It is beautiful. And it appears to have some magical capabilities upon it too. And he kind of smiles and says, and of course, blessed by none other than Master Nantes himself with its other capabilities.
A formidable weapon.
Indeed. At least we can hope so. With
Can
that,
I-
yeah, go ahead.
Can I get a sense of like whether he actually knows what he's doing with the sword? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, this is not a ninny boy. So the Crown Prince, you'd guess, late 20s, of military age, of military build. He doesn't have any scars or anything, so it doesn't seem like he's seen any kind of active battle, perhaps. But based on his stature, the way he carries himself, specifically, Mayman, go ahead and give me a tactical, knowledge tactics check. Okay. With that, I would say you get a pretty good sense of his capabilities. He would be a formidable swordsmith for sure. You get the sense by his balance, by his movements. He carries with him training that is perhaps beyond what you've been trained in with the sword. Probably by the best swordsman in the Empire. He can hold his own. Gentlemen, there are many businesses to take care of. I need to report back to my father, but if you need anything, you seem to have found us here, and oftentimes we will be.
Okay. Thank you for your. What's the word I'm looking for? What is it when the prince posts a conversation from someone? What's your audience?
Audience, yeah.
Thank you for your audience.
He kind of like fills in the word for you as you sort of stumble on it. My audience.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the word. I mean, I'm from the wilds, right? So it's appropriate that I wouldn't specifically know the terms in the courts.
Yeah. He leaves. Chorus and Render are sort of left behind as the Imperial Guards go with him. Gentlemen, perhaps we should walk the grounds together and see if there's anything odd about. Unless you have other things you wish to do.
Man, I'm at a loss. I'm really at a loss.
They kind of drag you along.
Yeah, that's good.
They drag you along. I mean, you're kind of already walking and talking at this point. It'd be awkward for you to break. So you follow along as they kind of talk regarding supplies, numbers. You overhear there are guards in the barracks of the Citadel, still at the ready if anything should happen. They've pulled some within. They kind of look over the shoulder, and as you heard, of course, there are ships at sea currently with many of the normal naval forces that we would have to call upon, as well as some of our infantry. But we are still of good armament here. I don't think there's anything to fear, especially with your group around as well. The Plenum appears to be calm again. You guys find yourselves sort of on the hill overlooking on the exterior of the palace, just surveying the grounds. You notice there are lights on at the Planetome. There's no longer any visible signs of fireballs and other magic occurring. And you also see a strange sight of Simon Willett walking with Lanray and Max over towards the gardens of the former queen, Queen Arquise, who passed away, the mother of the actual emperor. They're walking and talking in the gardens. Mayman and Midolfir, do you stick around with Chorus, or do you reconvene with your party?
Where on the city map are they actually walking toward?
Yeah, sure. On the city map, if you want to flip there, they are over by, sort of over here, 23.
Which is near that tree that kind of fucked us up then.
Yep, and you guys are kind of on a bluff outside of the castle on a high hill that overlooks the entirety of the citadel to the northeast corner of the castle. Not far away, maybe a few hundred feet.
Who is it that's with us right now? It's Chorus and...
Chorus and Render. Their focus is mainly upon the city, overlooking to see if there's any troubles.
I got a really, I don't have a really good feel for Simon Willett. I Adolphus never trusted him, so I'm gonna look at Me-Man and then at our two pieces, our two bits of company. I feel the need to go catch up with Max and Landry. Me-Man, okay. Let's go meet up with our others.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay. They, bow a little bit and they continue to look out over the city. This point on the citadel seems to be a strategic one for them, that they can survey a lot of what's going on over the walls of the citadel. You guys kind of go down the hill a bit towards the gardens where Max... yeah?
On the way, sorry, as we're kind of walking away, just a few steps away, I'm going to turn back to Chorus and be like, when exactly did it happen? And wait for him to...
When exactly did what happen?
Yeah. When exactly did the kingdom of Terthus become that which set up for conquest of their friends?
He kind of he has a dismayed look on his face. These times, these cold, strange trade winds, they've led us down a path that we can't necessarily question the Emperor's goals with. I think he has our best interest at heart.
War is never the best interest of anyone. There's enough resources for everybody. You just have to travel further to look for them, not immediately go to the extreme of planning conquest over your neighbors. This is not the Terthus that I came to. And this is not the Terthus that I take pride in protecting. And then I'm going to turn them off the way.
Okay. Kind of turns back to Render. There's no words spoken after that as you guys walk down the hill. At a certain point, as you're walking down the hill, Simon, Max, and Lanray kind of take note of you, walk towards you as well. You find yourselves in the more formal sort of rose gardens of this garden, not the area where the grave sites are up on the secondary hill by the trees. Behind the backs of the barracks here, you do reconvene with Max and Lanray, who are in heavy conversation with Simon.
Alright, so here's what Max is doing.
Okay.
While carrying on normal conversation. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Max is attempting to have the most filthy thoughts in his head as possible.
Okay.
Trying to see if Simon ever blushes or anything. Any tell that he might be reading my thoughts. I'm basically other than the discussion that we're having, my 4 thoughts are all just terrible.
Okay. Are you trying to sense his motive while you're doing this?
Yes.
Okay, so you give me that. Madolfir, as you approach, Max is kind of just talking normal with Simon. Simon's like, I remember as a child playing here in the garden. Many of us in the court lived such fanciful lives as children here. Our parents made sure we had all the best things. This was Terthus at its height, in my opinion. I'm not sure I still recognize this Terthus. And he kind of turns and sees, Madolfir. My goodness, it's been some time. Madolfir, as you approach, you're kind of moving your head around, trying to spot Simon. Simon approaches you, gives you a big kind of pat on the back.
Hold on. Read my note in chat first.
Okay. You don't see any scars on Simon.
I also don't let him put a hand at my back. If he reaches out to pat my back, I'm going to step to the side.
Okay, and he kind of got awkwardly misses and says, you half-orcs, you are a kook. I was just having conversation with, and he kind of awkwardly returns back as if it didn't happen, like when somebody puts out a hand and doesn't get a handshake. Well, I was just talking to your compatriots, Max and Lanray, about these beautiful gardens. They are quite lovely, aren't they? He kind of kneels down and picks at one rose. And he kind of smells it.
Max says, I'd be careful messing with the fauna or the flora here. Some
why?
of them pack a wallop.
He kind of smells it, and then he goes, ooh! And he kind of shudders, and there's a thorn that pricks him on the thumb. And he kind of bites his finger, and there's just a little trickle of blood on his thumb. And he goes, oh, Max, dark words you sorcerers have. It's almost as if you brought that upon me. And he kind of looks at you. But you wouldn't do that.
Max rolls his eyes.
You wouldn't do that to me, though, of course. I trust you. You get a sense he's being deceptive when he says he trusts you. With that sense motive check, Max.
I'm going to just kind of butt in, and I'm going to finish my assessment. It's clear the nobles like hand jobs more than hugs. With the hand job that this guy gave, it's confirmed.
Simon goes, I think your friend from not here doesn't really know what these words mean, so, all right. Excellent.
Is the fact that you gave Modalfear a hand job a problem, sir?
Attempted.
I'm trying to put him off his game so that they won't have advantage when they sense his motives or whatever.
Excellent. Hold on.
Did I pick up any reason why he would, did any indication that maybe he was reading my minds anyway?
With your sense motive of that, you didn't get any sense that any of the particular thoughts you were trying to make were having any reactions upon him. The biggest reactions are coming now in the open with Mayman saying this, and he's visibly blushing. So if he were to blush, he would have by now. So that's kind of the note you get from.
So that's my control.
Yes.
Mayman provided the control, and I was the experimental.
You have now seen his poker face of blushing at a minimum, and
hashtag science.
Yes. The night is coming.
I'm going to round it off by saying, "Would you like a hug?"
He goes, I don't know where you're from, but based on that prior sentence, I'm going to go ahead and keep my distance from you. But pleased to meet you. If you are with these gentlemen, I'm sure you are of the highest class. Gentlemen, I must get to some business of the court. Are you all coming to dinner tonight?
Are we? I don't know. Where's dinner?
If we get an invitation.
Yes, dinner will be in the castle, as typical. I know you all were tired yesterday and went straight to the chambers from the sounds of it. I did make note with the guards that you were here. I've kind of become a accountant for persons within the Citadel in these times. Not enough hands on deck, I suppose, being recruited on these matters.
Too busy giving hand jobs.
As it were, I'm really going to need to know what that means where you're from. Perhaps we could talk about it over dinner. There will be some ladies of court, Max, in case...
Max says, before he interjects with that, Max says, I've studied language quite a bit. I believe there are certain far-off lands where this is a term used to describe any kind of labor where one is lending hand to a close compatriot.
Perhaps we should label this as a job of labor instead.
Well, lost in translation.
Perhaps just have a conversation if you are coming to the court dinner tonight to avoid such misunderstandings. But Max, there will be ladies of court. I know your mother and father may be happy to hear you may be speaking with such people. Perhaps we can find you a suitable...
I am so very interested in attaining status, as you know. Yes.
Well, Byzantine name. Anyways, the invitation is struck. Should you find yourselves in need of food. And then he says, I part with you. Starts heading towards the castle. Medolfir, as he walks away, you notice there's like uncomfortableness after Mayman said what he said. He was like almost rubbing his neck, like kind of calming his blush that had happened. Perhaps his neck warmed from the ridiculous statement. You do notice makeup on his hand as he walks away. He is up on the hill, close to Render and Chorus, who are still conversing over something as he kind of heads up. Varg, give me a Varg survival check.
Damn you, Varg.
Varg seems to be busy in the flowers. He's taking a pee on one of the bushes. Doesn't notice anything. Are you mentioning anything to the group now that you're...
Yes. I'm going to let him know. You know what? I'm moving towards him now. Sorry, I'm going to walk towards him. Not like I'm, like, hot on this trail, right? I'm going to walk that way. I'm walking back towards the castle via the same manner in which he is heading.
Gotcha. The rest of the party, are you... Medolfir is a man of few words.
And I am going to explain over my shoulder, not shouting as we're doing it.
Okay.
His neck was covered with makeup. And look at me, man, as I say that, and then head that way.
Okay. Landray and Max, are you following suit?
Max is going to stay a little bit behind so that he's out of whisper range from... what's his face? The dude?
Simon Willett?
Yeah, Simon Willett. Okay. And once he's like sure that he's like across the court, right? Like it's hundreds of feet away.
Yeah, at this point, before sort of things click in, I'd say he had gotten a couple 100 feet away.
Okay, so at that range, Max is pretty confident. So he's gonna turn away, so he's not even facing in the same direction as him.
Okay.
And pulls out the sending stone.
Okay.
And what's his face? Darius, right?
Yep.
Is that one of the majors? Yeah.
Darius and Jameson, yep.
Yeah, Max says, come in, Hootie.
Yes, Blowfish.
How are things at the Planetum looking?
Well, as outsiders, we are only being given a little bit of sway here. It seems us free magic folks still are a little bit, not necessarily looked well upon. But we are being made comfortable. Lady Ferradina Canestep has been with us the entire time. She has shown us many of her magic creations. The Archmages have generally taken back control, I think. They've made their way back into whatever the inner area of the Planetum is through the library. And we are staying generally in the dormitories, but silence. There's no emergencies here.
Any notable losses since we've departed?
Losses? As persons, you mean?
Yeah, or anything.
They kind of talk it over and they come back. No, I think a full account of persons that are here. A lot of the students have returned back to the dormitory, those who have survived the attack. There's an unease, but everyone's kind of together. I have not noticed, and he kind of stops. Ferradina says she hasn't noticed anyone missing in particular.
Do you have any pointers on how one might be able to identify a doppelganger? Hello? Is my audio dropped out? Hello?
No, I hear you.
I hear you.
You should be able to tell with some, perhaps some detections, whether there are magics in place, although it won't necessarily tell you exactly what's happened. Didn't your friend, the little one, used to have an ability to determine a specific magic?
Yes, he's not with us anymore, as you know.
I take it you don't know how to do that.
Is he basically referring to, like, detect magic spell?
Detect magic, but also identify?
No, I don't know how to do that. Hold on, do I? Yeah.
Is the person who you are afraid of, or rather...
But that's for, like, magic items, isn't it? Like, object touched.
Yeah, I guess identify wouldn't necessarily do this, but you could still see if there's a school of magic in place on someone, just like you would with detect magic.
Yeah, the problem is around here, there's so many magical items that I can't seem to break through the noise level. Alright. Appreciate the input. And I say,
Yeah, it's generally like bad form to be walking around scanning people in for magic, especially the noble class. They have their secrets and they don't want everyone knowing exactly what protects them. It would make for assassins being able to get around such defenses and things. So it's bad form, but you could try. It's very obvious when you are detecting magic, I will say. Like, it is clear to someone when you are trying to detect magic on them.
mm-hmm.
So?
Okay. I say, Roger now.
Okay. We'll let you know if there's anything that happens this night. Hopefully it is a short night and no dangers lurk. The group continues to follow Madolfir up the hill.
I try to catch up.
Okay. Running behind Max. Madolfir, you're staying about 100 to 200 feet back at this time. Are you trying to close distance to Simon as he's entering the actual courtyard of the palace?
Yeah, I've got bigger legs.
Okay.
I could take bigger steps without making it look like I'm.
Give me a bluff check if you're trying to hide the fact that you're following him. And really, anybody who's behind him, please give me a bluff check. Which is everybody. Okay.
What if I don't want to hide the fact that I'm following Modal-Fear?
Sure. Yeah, you could just be following behind him.
I'm just following Modal-Fear, so I don't know really what's going on.
Okay. Madolfir, you do catch Simon looking over his shoulder back down the hill towards you and the rest. He kind of picks up his pace with the feet and enters the palace through one of the doors.
Is it like the main way in?
It's like a side entrance in, kind of a servant's entrance. Chorus and Render are watching the group quickly climbing this hill, and Chorus says, remember to stretch afterwards. He's gonna pull a muscle if he continues like that. So you are like visibly walking fast at this point. To him, at least.
Well, I am walking uphill too, so
yep.
It's not on.
You watch Simon go into the palace. What are you guys doing?
This is just like a regular entrance into the palace, right?
Yeah, it's a servant's entrance. It's not the grand entrance at the main courtyard.
So would this entrance be close to the throne room? Like if I was trying to get back to the throne room, would this be a normal entrance someone would?
This would almost go back into like the kitchen, the dining hall, that kind of zone. Perhaps the chambers, but not the throne room. The throne room's easiest from the main entrance.
The chambers would be like where we had our rooms that we rested in?
Yep, on the second floor. Mm-hmm. Second and third floor.
Just say, yeah, I think I'm gonna go get freshened up for dinner.
Okay.
And I'm gonna enter that door, and I'm headed towards it.
Okay. The rest of you, are you also heading in with Madolfir to freshen up?
Sure.
Okay.
Group shower.
I mean, not at the same time.
Oh, okay.
You do find...
Why not?
We do like hand jobs in Terthus.
Within your chambers, you do find noble clothes of higher quality than those that you would be normally wearing. A little bit finer than the ones that you wear, Max. Not crazy nicer, but nicer for sure. Definitely finer than the rest of you. Max, you know that wearing armor and weapons to a palace dinner could be a faux pas.
Mm-hmm.
You do see Mayman, I assume, showering with his helmet on. Is there anything you'd like to say to him?
If, yeah. So, he's doing
He's like a Donald ducking situation.
He's doing like an anti-nude, but in the opposite?
Yeah.
Okay. He's got the jean pants on his head.
He's He's got the full helmet and breastplate while taking a shower.
What's the term? Never nude. That's what it was from.
Yeah.
From yeah.
Tobias, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Max says, I don't know if you're gonna be able to pull that off once we are in the dining area for later. This might cause a problem. I kind of point at the helmet and the armor.
Mayman, Max is trying to talk to you about the customs of Terthus. Thoughts on your armor?
You're going to have to talk louder. The water is bouncing against the helmet. I can't hear anything.
Yeah, let me just reach around
Seems
here.
legit. Seems legit.
Let me just reach around to the knob.
There's this sound of reach around and hand down.
I turn the water off.
It's quieter in the bathroom now.
I say,
in the showers.
I repeat. I'm like, hey, I don't think you're gonna be able to pull off that look when we're at the dinner.
I'm gonna assume this is not like a multi-person shower, and Max just walked into my shower.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And like all the red hair is like very like sad, you know, like it's just drooping because it's just got wet.
Yep.
No fro.
Are you saying you walked into my shower to tell me to get undressed, Max?
100%.
I don't think I can give up the helmet, but I'll take my breastplate off if you want.
Okay.
So like, would you rather just stay back from the dinner? I can ask one of the servants to bring back a few trays of food if that's what you prefer, but it might cause an uproar if we go in there with armor.
I don't eat, Max. I don't need dinner.
Yeah.
Oh, convenient. Would I know if he stood guard outside, would that be a faux pas also? Like not like if he lent his assistance to the guard and he was like, hey, I'm not doing anything.
Yeah, no, it would be reasonable as long as it's not within the actual dinner, you know, next to the ladies of the court and things. Just in general, like that close to ladies of the court and you know, the high ups, weapons and armor are just not acceptable. But outside, no, that's where all the guards are, anyways.
Yeah, so I asked if that would be something Neiman would be interested in doing, so that he's close by if anything were to happen, but wouldn't offend anyone.
I think that's fine. I don't know why I want to keep my helmet on, to be honest with you, but I really don't want to have dinner, and the people here are kind of scary, so staying outside probably is safer for me.
Okay.
Besides, everybody gives me dirty looks anyways, so whatever.
I feel like it would go beyond dirty looks. I feel like they would actually like ask for it would be possibly more than the usual rudeness, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
That they would be giving you. So yeah, all right. I'll bring that up and see if I can make sure you can be nearby if anything were to happen.
Well,
I'm gonna stay with him.
Thanks for the reach around and talk in the shower, Max.
Yeah, I turn the water back on and I just get right under there and I'm like soaping up and everything. Yeah.
Okay.
I think Madolfer is not going to want to go into the dinner because of the same reason. So,
Okay.
I think Madolfer would ask Max to check on that and mimic that, right? Just staying kind of outside.
Okay. We can use Varg as your excuse.
Right.
Like, oh, Varg, he can't. Like, if I'm eating and Varg sees, knows that I'm eating, he's gonna be very upset.
How about you, Lanray? Are you going to attend dinner with Max?
I think I will, just so he's got some support.
Okay. As you find yourself in the chambers, you're faced with these formal, noble outfits in the armoire in front of you, and you look at your own very apt, flexible, functional ranger clothes that you wear so that you can move around, and then you look at the clothes, you look at your arrows and your bow. You're gonna have to keep all of that in your chamber room, or at least with Midolfir and Mayman.
Yeah, I just I said it there, and I just say to Midolfir and Mayman that if you guys could keep an eye on this, I would have very much appreciated it.
I mean, I'm going to be outside, so if you want to put it in like a bag of holding or something and give it to me, I'll have it in case you don't need it, and I'll just throw it at you.
Yeah, Max, are you okay with letting go of your bag of holding? Or actually, you know what? Lanray, you have one, right?
Well, I have an efficient quiver.
Okay, yeah, that'd be tricky to get all your gear into that. I mean,
yeah.
So, Max, would you be willing to let people borrow the bag of holding?
There was a handy haversack on Finn before he passed away. I'm assuming we still got that handy haversack at some point. I don't know who ended up with it, but there's a handy haversack somewhere.
If I remember correctly, Grandma needed it to take Henry back.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Yeah, I don't think you guys have that anymore.
I don't have a problem handing over my bag of holding. There's not a ton of space. Well, no, there is. There's over 100 pounds of space in there. My question is, would a handy haversack be looked at badly coming in?
No.
Okay.
As it would be okay, as long as it stayed away from the table. But it might be awkward to part ways with it that way. It would not be acceptable to bring a large sack that carries potential weapons or dangers.
What about my spell components pouch? That's like sitting on my
That
belt.
is generally accepted, including from clerics and other mages who have been to the court before.
Okay. I hand the handy haversack to whoever I think would be able to get me my scrolls quickest.
Okay.
Because that's where I keep all my scrolls. Who would be able to get it to me quickly if we need it?
Between Mayman and Midolfir, which one are you?
Varg.
So, Midolfir.
Ooh. Oh, yeah. Okay, so you're saying I should strap this on Varg?
Give it to Midolfir. Midolfir can give it to Varg if the need arises.
All right. Yeah, so I hand the handy haversack to Midolfir and the bag of holding to Lanray?
Okay.
Does that sound right?
Well, the bag of holding, Lanray's just going to put his clothes in it and also leave it with Mayman and Midolfir.
Oh, okay. Then yeah.
Okay. You see Lanray for the first time in very formal gear, clothes. The fact that he's an elf is more apparent in this. He looks kind of out of place in human noble clothing. You're looking spiffy though. You've got more layers on than you're used to. Max, you kind of fit right in with this style. Your hair is the only thing that stands out in the noble court. But
do we have clothes from them, or are we using our own nicer clothes?
I don't think you all brought any noble clothes with you. I don't think anybody had that in their gear.
I mean, I have monk clothes and a robe of useful things, so that's my clothing.
Yeah, no, that would not have been well taken at the dinner. So you are wearing what's in your chambers, which would be very formal royal clothes.
Okay.
Midolfir
by the way, I have my baby Hydra with me.
Got it. Okay. Midolfir and Mayman, are you putting any part of those fancy clothes on along with your... You don't have to. You're not going to dinner, but... taking part of any of those clothes.
I don't think it would make sense for me. I think my dude's pretty shell-shocked about this whole situation, so I don't think he wants to do anything different. And
you're missing out on the opportunity to be in your normal armor and everything, but then have a bow tie on.
Very true. Yeah, but I also don't think I'm still of the mind that we're going to be attacked at any moment. So I don't understand why I would want to get out of anything that would make me less efficient.
Yeah. Fair. Just thinking with your tactical mind. Madolfir, did you put on any of the fancy clothes, or are you sticking with your kind of barbarian gear?
Barbarian all the way.
Okay. At times, the ladies of the court kind of come across you and Mayman in your clothing. You see one of them kind of blush at you, Madolfir, in your barbarian gear, which, is high cut at the hip. They pass along towards the dining room. And then
flex the bicep and look away.
Okay. And they walk quickly. Max and Lanray, you all... yeah, short shorts and a deep V indeed. You all make it to the dinner. With Madolfir, Mayman, and Varg standing guard nearby in the halls, just outside the dining room. As you enter, there's a different kind of atmosphere here this evening. It is friendlier, upbeat. There's a live band within the dining space playing more exuberant music. Let's see if I can get it to actually play. At some point it will. As you enter, Max and Lanray, everyone is, the adventurers are here. And you see Simon Willett, kind of almost the party organizer, strangely enough. You don't notice the Crown Prince at all here. You don't see Chorus or Render. This seems to be a dinner that is largely, persons of the court, the lesser peoples, not the sort of guards, etc. The table is well furnished. There are dishes laid out. There's already some food served. What are you and Lanray doing?
Scoping out the place and sort of trying to figure out who the players are at the current place. So hold on. So the prince is missing, but is Simon Willett there?
Yeah, Simon's almost like the master of ceremonies here. As you enter, he's the one that goes, the adventurers, and shows you to seats, shows you where you can sit.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna try to play along, but keeping an eye on him.
Okay. You notice that he's seated you between two younger ladies of the court. Your age, not his age. Simon is substantially older than you, Max. He's 20 years or so older than you. These are ladies of the court, similar in age to Daria. Perhaps people who played with Daria long ago when they were children in the court. Simon kind of taps on a glass, I believe, and there's still 2 empty seats. He did leave them open for Madolfir and Mayman. It seems these are everyone who is joining us, so perhaps we shall have dinner soon. I wish to welcome everyone to this dinner. I know that these are strange times, but perhaps we can find some joy in good company here this evening. I have been asked by the Emperor and his family to host dinner for all of you tonight, to make you feel most comfortable here in these times. I know that the quarters have become more tight recently, but let us drink and eat and enjoy each other's conversation. With that, he kind of taps on a little metal, almost like a bell, but it's not quite the shape of a bell, and food starts coming out of the kitchens and being placed on the table. Max, immediately, awkwardly talking with you are these two ladies of the court. One of which is Lady Vendor, the daughter of the courtier of arms, who's a little bit tipsy on wine and kind of is saying, "Oh, Max Xanthi, oh my goodness. You are a strange sight in these places. How is your family? How's your mother? It's been so long since I've come to one of her tea socials."
I was kind of hoping you'd tell me.
"Oh, Max, it is poor form not to speak to your family. Even me and the gruff old man still talk. Even though he's 1,000 miles away, I still find means to talk to him."
Yeah, some of us have to put country ahead of family.
"Oh, you speak of such riddles, Max."
Yes. You know us
She
wizards.
"Oh, yes, magic. I wish you'd show me some magic. I do love
Hocus
magic."
pocus! Hocus pocus!
She laughs. She laughs like and snorts, and then she lifts up her glass, and the waiter comes by and pours a little bit of wine into the glass. And she goes, "Thank you, Linus." Yeah, with that, the other lady next to you continues to talk. Lanray, you are seated next to kind of a younger gentleman of the court and another lady, both of whom are almost having a conversation across from you. Are you just kind of sitting there quietly, or you're not next to Max right now? You've been almost purposely by strategy separated to converse amongst people you don't know.
Yeah, and I just kind of sit back and just listen, and I don't try to insert myself, and I'm just trying to hear what the conversations are about. And,
Okay. Give me a listen check.
Purposely don't engage.
Okay, give me a listen check, and this is going to be a high DC because there's so much distraction. Okay. Every time you start hearing, like, you focus in on what Simon is speaking of, and Simon is speaking to higher up people. He's one of the few who's not necessarily kind of spread across to all sorts of folk. He's speaking with the courtier of banks, Lord Carolidia. You also notice that Lord Rain's Pendafir is here, the consort of the city. Usually he would be down at the city itself, but he's up here. Yeah, they're kind of conversing, and each time you kind of pick up on one word, one of the sort of drunken ladies of the court laughs quite like boisterously and interrupts anything you can hear. And the two that are having conversations across from you are really distracting. They're almost like leaning in front of your face, leaning behind your face. And then the gentleman kind of taps you on the shoulder and says, "So, what is your history? What brings you to these lands of ours?"
Oh, it's quite a long story, but I met some friends in Terthus, and we have continued just exploring. How about yourself?
The lady next to you kind of interrupts and says, "Explorers, adventurers, you mean? Have you killed anyone?"
Oh, I can't kiss and tell, but it has been quite eventful, I will say.
She goes, "Oh, goodness." And the one next to you, the gentleman goes, "Don't mind her. She has a fascination with elves. Silly infatuation with them. But yes, of your adventures, those are very interesting." And they keep like making this kind of small talk with you about like all the things that you've done, asking you questions about like monsters and things that you've come across. Madolfir and Mayman. From outside, you only hear kind of the very boisterous moments, the sharp sounds of someone laughing. At times, it's kind of nerve-wracking. The laugh at a time from a couple of these people sounds like a scream at first. It's very like startling and loud, and then you're like, okay, they're laughing. Eventually, someone brings some food out to the hall, if you would like any.
Set the tray there. I may have some later. Not right now, I think.
Okay. Inside.
I don't have any.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't need any.
Noted, sir. And the waiter goes back. Inside, the drinks are being poured. Landray and Max, wine is poured for you regardless of whether you're drinking it or not, but are you drinking any of it?
I kind of like raise it to my lips, but I don't actually sip. Like, I just sort of like pantomime.
Give me a bluff check.
Okay.
What about
Really
you, Landry?
trying to go to my strengths here.
You feel very out of place. Hey!
Holy shit!
Your inert nobility shows up.
Mhm.
Landray, what about you?
I am just going to completely not pick it up.
Okay. Let's see. Okay. Max, as you raise to drink the glass, you notice Simon Willett kind of smiling. And then he kind of turns to you, speaking with the courtier of trade, or courtier of coin and banks, and kind of turns to you and says, "What of the Xanthi family? What new adventures and other than yourself, what new commerce are they planning? Your family has such valuable assets within the empire."
I'm sure you would know more than I.
Well, I do receive the tax accounts every once in a while.
Yeah.
But yes, your father, does he have any new ventures he's looking to do?
I honestly don't know, sir.
Well, he kind of looks dismayed at this. He kind of gets a little bit of a side, like whatever smile he had kind of goes meh. He returns talking with the courtier of banks.
Mm-hmm.
The
Is there any
dinner
like hors d'oeuvres or anything out right now?
Yeah, there's food out. Pieces of meat that have been cut. Pretty fanciful considering the conditions outside the Citadel walls.
What kind of meat?
Lamb.
All right, I take some of the lamb and I kind of, instead of eating it, I kind of bring it to where the handkerchief pocket would be, I guess. Like,
Sure. Yes.
And the little Hydra heads stick their head out, and I feed the lamb to the Hydra baby.
As you do that, the woman next to you freaks out, but in a good way. Like start at the beginning, she screams. She goes, "Ah!" And Manolfir, you hear this from the outside. It sounds like a scream. And then in a hushed tone, she's like, "Oh, what a nasty little monster that is." As you start feeding the lamb to the Hydra. "Where did you find such a wondrous thing?" And she like sticks out her finger and almost tries to pet the top of the Hydra.
I would do that.
It snaps, and she kind of goes, "Ooh, okay."
I juxtapose my hand in the way. I'm like, I'm trying to make sure it never gets the taste for people.
Indeed. Well, you are a strange one, Max Xanthi. I didn't know you would take to such creatures and beasts.
I look over at her plate and I say, "Are you going to eat that?"
No, I've had my fill. You can have whatever you need, Max.
I use a fork and daintily pick it up and another piece of lamb off of her plate and feed it to the Hydra.
As you do so, like certain people around the table are like, They kind of look away to some extent in a little bit of dismay as you feed the Hydra at the table. Landray, you get the sense generally that people are like awkwardly trying to avoid eye contact with Max as he's doing this.
That's exactly what I was going for.
I just watch them and I'm like, okay.
Okay. Eventually, someone walks up to Simon. It's a waiter. And whispers something in Simon's ear. "I will give you an opportunity, Landray and Max. Max, you're further from... Max, you are closer to Simon, so the DC will be easier to overhear. Landray, you are a little bit further, so the DC's higher." Wow.
Cool.
Landray, are you trying to listen into? Okay. Something about a matter that he has to... you hear the words from the waiter mostly, "A matter that needs your attention, sir." And he kind of stands up and he puts his napkin on his seat and states, all please continue to drink and have mirth, and he tells the band to play a little bit louder. I'll be right back. I just need to attend to something. Max and Lanray, you notice this. The doors of the dining hall are closed right now. So Medolfir and Mayman, from the outside, you just hear Simon say that he has to take leave for a moment. And that's all you kind of hear.
Do I see anyone leave the hall?
Eventually, Simon, with one of the waiters and a guard, comes out of the doors. The waiter kind of stays behind just to close the door behind him. The guard kind of comes out and stays in the hall next to you two. And he just goes to the guard. He kind of says, I'll be back shortly. There's no need for any protection. I feel quite safe in these halls. And he starts walking down the hall.
I'm going to start to tail after him anyways.
Okay. Medolfir?
So he came out the hall that we're in.
He came out the door to the dining hall where you guys are, and you see him sort of walk down the hallway, leaving the guard that was coming with him behind.
So the guard's like right there near me.
Yeah, he kind of held position at the door, similar to where you guys were. Mayman is kind of standing up already to perhaps follow Simon.
He's not the only guard there, though, right? Like, there's other guards.
There are
there
other
also.
guards stationed down this hallway, yes.
I start to mutter, like, what kind of guards are you that can let just somebody walk out all by himself, all alone?
The guard kind of goes, well, with the Crown Prince not at dinner, he is the highest ranking member. We have to listen to our orders. So, what are you guys doing? You following Simon? And
Man, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. Yeah, shit, dude.
at this point, he's about 100 feet away as you guys are kind of looking at each other.
I'm following.
Oh, okay. You
I
have
said
stood up.
I'm getting up like I'm going to guard him. So I'm
Okay.
going.
I got you. That's why you said that to the guards. I got it. Medolfir, are you following Mayman? In his quickness, Mayman is already...
Mayman, are you good?
I'm fine.
Okay.
I'm worried about getting too far away from Max since I've got his
Gotcha.
bag, basically. That's why I'm like,
Okay, yeah. Mayman, you follow Simon. Are you trying to hide the fact that you're following, or are you, like, very obviously following behind?
I'm very obviously following behind, and I'm really loudly muttering, like, what kind of guards wouldn't protect a man of your stature? Like, I'm offended that no one else helped him out.
Okay. As you kind of follow, he goes, yes, well, I mean, I don't feel any need. If you wish to stay behind, it's not a problem, man. Stick with your group and, have merriment. I'll be back shortly. I just need to take care of some trade business. It is rather sensitive business. It's involving, obviously, some of the matters in Sulphus Gras, so at a certain point, you won't be able to continue following me. You don't have necessarily the confidentiality necessary for these particular matters. But you can stay or you can go, and he's kind of quickly, he's got like hummingbird legs as he's walking, even though you are so much taller than him. Your stride is so much longer. He's trying to stay ahead of you to some extent.
I'm going to say no. Back where I'm from, whenever someone got separated from the pack, they were always killed, and I would feel terrible if a friend of my friends were to be, put in any kind of harm. So I'll just stay with you and make sure no one bothers you.
Okay. As you follow behind, easily keeping pace with his hummingbird legs, he does try to pick it up as much as possible. Now at this point, he looks like he's power walking, just heel to toe, fast. Eventually, you come to a portion that's close to the fountain room. You had passed by the fountain room by happenstance. You don't know that Max and Lanray had heard him talking at one point there. There is a set of doors that separates this from the sort of the main court of the castle where the dining and the chambers are. And he kind of there's two guards at this point as well, and he goes, special matters that require my attention, and they open the door for him, and you're like right shoulder to shoulder as they're opening the door for him, and he kind of looks at the guards and he says, I'll need to do this by myself, but keep company for my friend here. Hey man, there's two rather large armored guards blocking the doorway as Simon is going through. What are you doing?
I mean, I'm going to keep going with him.
One of the guards sticks out a pike as you try to proceed, just high enough to block you at the shoulders, but low enough for Simon to pass under through the door. And with the pike in front of you, he goes, sorry, good sirs, Simon, he goes, the Lord does state that he needs privacy at this time, but he says that you are an ally, but you may not pass here.
I say, well, if anything happens to him, it's on your head. And I'll just turn around.
Okay. Are you sort of hanging by the doors, or are you returning back the way you came?
How far? I'm not going to stand in front of them.
Okay.
What is the situation like? I mean, there's a set of doors there in front of it, and I'm in that little water room.
You're not quite. So he's heading into this room, and you're kind of like staged left through some doors that would be outside of this kind of room and hallway that proceeds out to the gardens. You know that there was potentially an entrance from the exterior. There are doors in the fountain room from the garden side. You saw those doors when you were walking outside by the gardens.
Oh, well, then I'll say, I'll go guard him from the gardens, and so I will go outside.
You say that to the guards? Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, you start walking. The guards don't necessarily follow you from what you can tell. Give me a spot check. And we'll probably close up session here soon. Okay, Mayman, despite your shadow plane past, as you walk through here, whatever strange lights and things, they mess with your eyes optically, and you can't really see much outside of your own hands, and even in this darkness, even though you are able to see sometimes, it's just weird. The light levels are strange. You make your way out to the garden in the moonlight, and you see that there is the fountain room. There's a door open in the fountain room that you notice from the outside. You're about 200 feet away from that open door, and you do see a candlelight within that dark fountain room. 2 candlelights. Even with your poor spot, you can see at least the little flickers of the candlelight. You're a couple hundred feet away, though. What are you doing?
Can I roll a listen?
You can certainly try. 200 feet's a pretty far distance, but you can try.
I'm actually more interested in stuff that's not in the room that might be outside with me.
Okay. Sure.
My listen is terrible anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. You try to hone in on anything you could pick up. You hear the snapping of twigs on the exterior where nearby. You notice 4 guards in armor following you. They go, you there. Announce your presence.
I'm here to guard Sir Simon Willett. There's already guards at the door inside. I'm making sure there's some guards out here in the garden.
As you say this, they go, you've wandered off, sir. The Lord has asked for privacy. And you notice this is the same one who had the pike who stopped you at the door.
Well, if you're out here, who's guarding the door?
The other guard, of course. Now come with us.
There's
I believe
4 of you here. Why did you leave that guy there? What if someone tried to barge in through that door? Could he handle it by himself? Do you all know not how to guard nothing?
they look at each other. Give me. I don't know how you want to do this. Are you doing this in a diplomatic manner, like trying to actually give them advice on how to guard, or are you just trying to confuse the hell out of them at this point?
I am trying to give them advice on how to guard. As far as I know, like, I don't have any reason to suspect Willett.
Okay.
But I don't like the fact that they're doing that. So I'll be telling them, like, the best way to do it is 3 of you stay here, you go back, and then we'll go inside, or 2 of you can stay here with me, and 2 of you go inside.
Okay. Give me a diplomacy check, and this will be the final roll for today, I think. This will be interesting. Okay. For a moment, as you're talking about this, the one who's carrying the pike kind of like looks, he's not wearing a helmet. He's wearing a helmet, but it doesn't cover his face. He has a clear, like, confusion on his face. And then he looks at the others and he's like, how many did we leave? Wait, no, stop that. Come with us right now, or we will have to force you to come with us. And the 4 guards clearly take a more readied stance with weapons, sort of hands near their weapon. And one of them goes, don't make us do this.
I was like, there's no question about me coming with you. That's a stupid thing. How many are you leaving here, and who do I go with? Are we going to go guard the front door? Mayman is completely clueless. He's still doing his thing.
The one thing that he notices, the one that's in charge, he notices there is a door open in the garden. And he kind of tells the other 2, go check out the door. We'll take him back inside. And the 2 of them kind of nod, and they head over to the open door. And as they do head towards the door, man, you notice one of the candle lights starts moving quickly away from the other candle light within the fountain room. Gets blown out, and now you only see the one candle light within the fountain room as the other one has disappeared. The guards kind of go, you hear, there's someone in the gardens, and one of the guards kind of takes off running towards the garden. The man with the pike says, you, to the other guard, the 3rd guard, go assist him, and he yells over, continue towards the doors, make sure there's no one else. And he goes, to you, Mayman, perhaps you can be of use inside. Let's go see what's happened. And he says to move towards the open door of the garden.
I'll go inside, but I will tell him I told you so.
Okay. You do so. You notice as you guys approach the door, that final light within the fountain room goes out as you guys are about 60 feet away at this point, still on the exterior. And you hear the quick footsteps on tile reverberating through the open doorway as someone moves quickly away. As you enter the room... Is
it with the cadence of a hummingbird?
It is a quick cadence. Tap, 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 tap. Distancing away. As you enter the fountain room, you don't find any persons. The guard and you, and the other guard who had rushed ahead, find only a box. A small box. Its lid open. The guard kind of goes, that wasn't here before.
Well, now the whole dinner is at risk because you didn't listen to me up front.
He kind of tells the guard, the other one, the lesser one, go see what's in the box.
What's up?
The guard kind of slowly approaches the box, takes out his sword, and nudges the lid off of the box. And he goes, it's empty, sir, except for a couple of papers. And he leans down to pick up the papers. And as he picks it up, it's got some strange writing on them, and he brings it over. And Mayman, you see like scrolls with strange writing on them.
I was like, we've got to get this to my friend as soon as possible. The whole dinner is at risk. Who knows? They could have tried to kill Simon Willett, and now they're going to go after the other guests.
The main guard with the pike kind of nods and says, quickly, back to the dining. You all rush towards the dining hall. Are you opening the doors to the dining room? You find Medolfir sitting there with Varg. Varg still snacking on whatever food he can.
I'm gonna say go get Max.
Medolfir?
Like, are the guards and Nina like rushing up?
Yeah.
Like, there's trouble afoot?
Are you telling Medolfir to go get Max, or are you telling the guard to go get Max?
No, I'm telling Medolfir to go get Max because he's got your crap. So I want him.
I'm gonna hand the bag to Varg and tell him to do as we spoke.
Okay. Varg rushes through. As he does, there's people like dancing in the dining room. There's a lot of frivolity as the doors open, a lot of noise and cadence. Varg rushes past, and you hear almost like a whoa, like sudden like exacerbations from some of the people in the court as a wolf enters the room carrying a bag over to Max. Max, this is a signal that Medolfir has sort of conversed with you. What are you doing?
Yeah, I loudly say, that's my signal to leave. Sorry about the hubbub, and I pet Varg and kind of lead him back out the door.
Okay, Lanray, you spot Max doing this through people's shoulders dancing. What are you doing?
I just start making my way over to where he's going and see if I need to start providing any backup.
Okay. As you guys leave the dining hall behind you, you do notice Simon was there by the time this happened. Simon had returned Max and Lanray before Varg rushed in. Not long before, maybe a minute or two before. Max. A minute or two maximum.
Wait, so Simon would have passed by me?
Yes, Medolfir. Simon also returned past you about 90 seconds before Mayman rushed forward.
Wait, and he was running when he came?
You wouldn't say running. He was kind of quick walking.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would have, if I would have known he was coming by before, like, Nina got here, I would have, like, done some checks, see if his neck was exposed, see if I could see any scarring, because I'm still not 100% sure. I'm like 90% sure this is the freaking the same doppelganger that was on Lady Aurelia and Dragons. I'm like convincing myself of that. So
you could do a spot check for sure. Max, as you exit the doorways with Lanray, you find Mayman and the guards holding two pieces of paper in their hands that look very familiar to you. Medolfir, you did not notice anything different as you walked through. He was in a quick pace, not much time to check. Max, scrolls. Mayman hands them over to you, and to you, these are very obviously scrolls. What do you want to do?
Cool. I want to
read
them.
I'm going to explain the situation, and I was like, listen, these guards failed to protect Simon Willett as he went to conduct some business in the fountain chamber. We couldn't find it, but there was some intruder who must have dropped this box with the scrolls, and since you're the most reasonable person about this stuff, I wanted to make sure you knew this, but it's good that Simon's back. I'm going to make sure he's okay, but I just wanted you to have these because we found them in the box in the fountain room, where clearly there was an intruder because some guards weren't doing their job.
The guard kind of hangs his head low. So, Max, with that knowledge, what are you doing with these papers?
I'm looking at them.
Okay. Do you have the ability to understand divine and arcane scrolls?
Yeah, because an archivist is divine class.
Yes. Okay. So, they are not arcane spells.
If they were divine, I would have known them too.
That's true. Max, although, has a very deep understanding of scrolls and magic. He has the ability to actually determine what spell it is on that. Although you do too, but it would be more likely he would be able to successfully do that. Yeah, Max, these are definitely divine scrolls.
Okay. So I think I can try to decipher them?
Yeah.
This is a spellcraft check, right?
Yes.
It's a DC 20 plus spell level.
Let me just double check if it's Decipher script. I don't think it is. But
No, Decipher script is for mundane script. It's not for magical stuff.
You are
It's
correct.
like-
DC 20 plus spell level for the deciphering of the writing.
So level 19 or lower.
Level 19 spells would be awesome. Okay. The first one that you look at is a very interesting necromantic scroll. At first, as you read it, the words kind of send a chill down your spine, but then you realize this is Death Ward. A level 4, I believe, spell
Okay.
for clerics that makes you immune to all death spells, etc., 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 as linked. Do you want to try the other one also?
Yeah.
Okay.
Level 8 or lower.
Okay. This one is a conjuration spell, Lesser Restoration. It's kind of strange.
Is it is this one also divine?
It is also divine, yes.
Okay. So normally
That's-
I would be annoyed because I don't like conjuration, but because this is divine, my archivist side can use it, I think.
Interesting. I'll look into that out of session to make sure, but yeah.
Yeah, the banned schools are only relevant to the wizard class, not
Gotcha.
everything.
So, with that, you kind of know that these are not offensive spells. These are kind of defensive spells. Why they were being snuck in a box is unclear. Is there anything else before we close session that you guys are conversing about?
Like Medolfer's just like he's not saying anything to anybody, but he's just like glossing over the fact that apparently Simon Willard just went and met with an intruder that left him, and somehow a box of scrolls got left behind, and he's just like going back into the dinner party like it's all good, right? And I'm like, hold on,
Yeah.
I'm like, hold on. So yeah, but Medolfer's just sitting there like kind of like looking at the party, and then like kind of like looking through the door into the looking at our party, us, and then looking through the door into the dinner party, and be like, wait a minute, like, you know, just kind of like he doesn't know what he should do with it. So
Yeah. That's fair. I mean, feel free if there is a role that you're trying to roll to figure out something in this moment, you are free to do so. Otherwise, we're going to close session. There's some confusion about as to why he's sneaking about. Just keep in mind, he's the highest ranked person of the court present at this dinner. The
well, and
guards-
that's the only reason why Medolfer's not just barging through the door with a sword drawn and making a beeline to him right now. So
yeah, it could be a faux pas, certainly, to attack the host. Landray, maybe. Anything else?
I don't think Willet's a baddie, but I think he's dumb, and I feel like he put himself at risk, and that's kind of my going in position for now, because I don't. He is the highest ranking person, and I don't know any of the history why we wouldn't be friends with him. Like, I don't think I got that at all.
Yeah. And I will say, Medolfir, through your sort of paranoias about the doppelganger, like, you're also not the most eloquent speaker or communicator, right? Your intelligence isn't as high. So even though your player may communicate, in the way it comes across to the party, you know, it's more frenetic, I'd say, you know, in your explanation. I mean, everyone understands what you're sort of worried about. But maybe not to the greatest confidence in it. You're not necessarily the plan maker of the party. Okay. Landray, anything else from you?
No, I mean, I think I sense the, heightened feeling from Adolfir, so I am very much just looking for an excuse to pull my bow and start shooting stuff.
Okay. The guards kind of eventually look to you, Mayman, and say, if you think there's something trouble afoot, I can assist with my folks. I understand I made a mistake before, and I don't plan to make that mistake again, sir.
I'm just going to say, well, clearly something is afoot. I think we could all do with a little bit more, I don't know. I don't want to say support. I'm missing the English word. A little bit more protection. No, not trust,
Sure.
but like we need to make sure that the party is safe. There's a lot of important people there. So it wouldn't hurt to have people paying more attention or to even post a couple more guards to make sure the party's safe. May seem a little unusual, but better safe than sorry. Like, I just want him to draw more guards in. And then I think that's a reasonable thing to do since he just found an intruder, right?
Yeah, he kind of agrees, and he walks off to find a couple more guards nearby, and then comes back with those guards.
Max is gonna hand his bags back to Medolfir and say, "I'm gonna keep an eye out inside," and he heads back into the tent.
Okay, and you find Simon kind of laughing and drinking, dancing with a few of the ladies, almost like a promenade, going elbow to elbow, dancing to the music. And with that, Landry, are you returning to the party, or are you staying out here with the rest of them?
I'm gonna stay out here with the rest of them.
Okay, Max by himself in there.
Yep.
We will return to this next session.
Oh man, I just do it. I'm like, it's all I can do to not have fun with over just watch it and try to take down Simon Wood. Like I like, it's just like gnawing at me. This guy's like going to be like a point of contention here. So,
Well, all right.
and I convinced myself that he's shitty, dude. He needs to go.
Yep.
So.
All right, guys. Good session. We'll see what happens next time if Medolfir cracks and tackles Simon Willett, it sounds like. All right. Have a good rest of your Sunday. Oh,
all right,
Max,
Jamie.
I'll answer to whatever questions you have in the out of session, I guess. Good session.
About
All
what?
right, see you guys.
Later.
Okay. Bye.
Later.